The restaurant was almost empty that evening, the kind of quiet that settles over a place after the dinner rush, when the clatter of dishes fades and only a few lingering conversations echo softly off the walls. The warm golden lights hung low over polished wooden tables, reflecting off shiny cutlery and half-empty glasses. Outside, the city buzzed with life via cars honking, neon lights flashing, but inside, there was a strange sense of calm. At the far end of the room, near the window where the rain streaked down in delicate lines, sat a man who looked like he belonged to a different world altogether. Ethan Wolfe, to anyone else. He was the billionaire whose name graced magazines, business panels, and charity galas. But right now, he didn't look like a man worth billions. He looked a broken bar tired, the kind of tired that sat not in the bones but in the soul. His suit jacket hung loosely over the booth beside him, his sleeves rolled up, and a half-finished steak sat untouched in front of him. Even though he had come here for dinner, he spent more time staring out the window than he ate, as if searching for something beyond the glass. That was when she appeared, a small girl, maybe 8 or 9, wearing an oversized hoodie that swallowed her thin frame. Her shoes were old, the rubber worn down, and her hair tied back in a messy ponytail. She moved quietly between the tables, her steps hesitant. No one noticed her, or maybe they did and chose to ignore her, but she noticed everything, especially the man sitting alone. She approached slowly, clutching the straps of a tiny faded backpack. Her eyes, a warm hazel, shining even in the dim light, held a mixture of fear and determination. It took her a moment to find her voice. "You my broken bar, sir?" Ethan blinked, turning away from the window. He hadn't expected company. His first instinct was confusion. His second was concern. "Yes," he said gently. The girl swallowed hard, her fingers twisting nervously. "Yeah, broken bar. I'm sorry to bother you. I just a broken bar. I was wondering a broken bar." She hesitated, cheeks flushing from embarrassment. "Could a broken bar maybe broken bar have your leftovers, if you're not gonna eat them?" Her words dropped into the quiet restaurant like a stone into still water. For a moment, Ethan couldn't speak. Leftovers. She wanted scraps. He glanced at his plate. A barely touched steak, mashed potatoes still warm, vegetables perfectly sautéed. Copyrighted. He looked back at her, noticing now the faint tremble in her shoulders, the cautious hope in her eyes. "What's your name?" he asked softly. She hesitated before replying, as if afraid the truth might get her in trouble. "Yeah, that's a beautiful name," Ethan said. "Are you alone?" She shook her head quickly. I mean yes. Not alone forever. My mom is a broken bar. She's working. She told me to stay close to the shelter boot. A broken bar. Yeah, bit her lip. Sometimes they don't have enough food left, so I thought maybe, just maybe, someone wouldn't mind sharing." Her voice cracked at the last word. Ethan felt something shift inside him, a tug, a memory, a place he didn't like to visit often. He motioned toward the seat across from him. "Would you like to sit?" She looked around nervously, afraid someone might yell at her, but when no one paid attention, she slid into the seat, placing her little backpack beside her like a shield. The waiter noticed her and began walking toward them, annoyance already forming on his face. Ethan raised a hand sharply. "She's with me." The waiter paused, nodded stiffly, and stepped away. Yeah, relaxed a little. Ethan leaned forward. Yeah, broken bar. When was the last time you ate?" She stared down at her hands, avoiding his eyes. "Yesterday, but it was just half a sandwich." She rushed to explain. "Mom tries really hard, but she hasn't been feeling well. Sometimes she skips her share so I can have more." Ethan's chest tightened. He had grown up with money, but he wasn't blind to the world, especially after losing his wife. He had seen suffering up close, emotional, physical, all of it, but hearing it from a child, a broken bar that did something to him. "Tell you what," he said, forcing a smile, "you don't need leftovers." Her eyes widened. "Yeah, I don't?" "No," he said, "because we're going to order you your own dinner. Anything you want." Her reaction was instant to shock, disbelief, fear, hope, all blending into one. "But I don't a broken bar. I don't have money," she whispered. "You don't need any," Ethan said. "Tonight, you're my guest." Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. "Really? Really?" He signaled the waiter, who returned with a notepad. "What would you like?" Yeah," Ethan encouraged. She looked at the menu like it was a treasure map, scanning items she had never even heard of. Finally, her finger stopped on something simple. "The kids' meal?" she said quietly, almost apologetically. Ethan chuckled. "You can get anything, Ma. Yeah, don't worry about the price." She hesitated again, then smiled shyly. "Okay, a broken bar, maybe the chicken strips, and mashed potatoes, and a broken bar. Could I have a small lemonade?" "Absolutely," Ethan replied. When the waiter left, Ma let out a breath she'd been holding. "Thank you," she whispered. "Most people just tell me to leave." "Well, I'm not most people," Ethan said gently. For the first time, Ma smiled. It was small, but it lit up her whole face. As they waited for her food, Ethan asked about her life. She told him about the shelter, about her mother working cleaning jobs, about school being hard when she couldn't always go. Her voice was soft but steady, as she had learned long ago not to complain. "And you?" she asked suddenly. "Are you lonely?" The question caught him off guard. "Why would you ask that?" he managed. Ma shrugged. "You looked sad before I came. People who stare out windows like that, a broken bar, usually miss someone." Ethan's breath hitched. Children saw more than adults ever gave them credit for. "Yes," he whispered. "I do miss someone." She didn't pry. She just nodded with quiet understanding, as something beyond her years. When her food arrived, Ma's eyes sparkled. She ate carefully at first, as though afraid it would be taken away, but Ethan reassured her again and again until she relaxed and allowed herself to truly enjoy it. Watching her eat warmed something inside him he thought had died long ago. Her joy, her innocence, her gratitude. It was pure, unfiltered, and it didn't want his money, it wanted kindness, the kind he had forgotten how to give. By the time she finished, she leaned back with a shy grin. "That was the best meal ever." Ethan smiled softly. "I'm glad." But he also nodded deep in idea that this moment wasn't over. This meeting a broken bar wasn't random. Something was about to change, and neither of them knew it yet. Ma's small hands wrapped around the lemonade glass as if it were the warmest, safest thing in the world. The ice clinked softly, her feet dangled from the booth unable to touch the floor, and she smiled shyly at Ethana like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to be this happy. Ethan couldn't look away. There was something almost otherworldly about her presence, like she'd walked into his life not by accident but because fate decided he needed a reason to look inward again. "So," Ethan said gently, "tell me more about your mom. You said she hasn't been feeling well?" Ma nodded, eyes drifting to the window where raindrops tapped like restless fingers. "She gets really tired, sometimes dizzy." Her brows pinched together. "She works at the laundry place during the day, then cleans offices at night. She says she's fine, but I know she's not." "How do you know?" "Because she hides her coughs." Ma lowered her voice. "She does it when she thinks I'm sleeping, but I always hear." Ethan's heart twisted. He knew that kind of sacrifice, the kind where a parent destroys their own body trying to keep their child fed. "My dad used to hide things from me too," Ma added quietly. Before he left, Ethan's brows lifted. "Your dad left?" She nodded, but not with anger or bitterness, just a quiet acceptance, like she learned early that some people don't stay. "One day he just didn't come home," she explained. Mom cried for a long time, but then she got stronger. She said some people are blessings, a broken bar, and some are lessons. Ethan felt a lump form in his throat. Her mother sounded like a warrior, one who had been fighting too long with too little. "And what about you?" he asked. "Do you go to school?" "When I can," she admitted, "but sometimes Mom needs help, and sometimes a broken bar we can't get the bus money." Her voice faltered. Ethan leaned forward. "Ma, broken bar. How long have you been living in the shelter?" She traced circles on the table with her fingertip. "Almost 4 months." 4 months. A child shouldn't have to say that sentence, not with such quiet familiarity, like it had become part of her identity. "And no relatives?" Ethan asked. Her head shook. "Mom says relatives only show up when they want something. We're better on our own." Ethan understood that too well. When his wife died, everyone offered sympathy, but no one offered presence. Grief had a way of shrinking your world down to 2 people, you, a broken bar, and the memory of the person you lost. "So what made you come here tonight?" he asked. Ma hesitated. She looked at the plate of food, almost empty now, and then back at him. "Hope," she whispered. Ethan blinked. Hope? She nodded. Sometimes a broken bar when you're hungry and a broken bar. Hope is the only thing that keeps your legs moving. Those words hit him harder than anything in years. This little girl didn't speak like a child. She spoke like someone who had tasted life too early and too raw. But even then she didn't complain. Her voice wasn't bitter. It was soft, almost gentle. Do kids make fun of you at school? Ethan asked softly. Sometimes, she admitted, because my backpack is old, and my shoes squeak, and a broken bar, and sometimes I don't smell good. Her cheeks reddened. She looked down, embarrassed. Ethan's chest tightened. He wanted to take her pain and crush it in his hands. No child deserved humiliation on top of hunger. But I try to be brave, she added quickly, as if needing to prove she wasn't weak. Mom says bravery isn't about not being scared, it's about doing things even when you are scared. Ethan nodded slowly. Your mother is a very wise woman. Ma's lips curved into a small, proud smile. She is. She says I'm her little sunshine, even on the days when the sky is gray. She paused, watching Ethan with those sharp, seeing through your soul kind of eyes. And you a broken bar, you look like someone who needs sunshine too. The words hit him so unexpectedly he couldn't breathe for a second. How'd you figure that out? He managed. Your eyes, she said simply. People who are happy don't have sad eyes. Ethan swallowed hard. This little girl a broken bar was peeling him open without even realizing it. He took a slow breath. My wife passed away. Ma's expression softened instantly. I'm sorry. It's been 3 years, he said quietly, but some days still feel like yesterday. Ma leaned forward, her small hands curling around the table's edge. My teacher says the people we love never really leave. They stay in the good parts of us. Ethan's eyes stung. This child a broken bar, this homeless, hungry child a broken bar was giving him comfort. How old are you, Ma? He asked. 9, she replied. 9? A 9-year-old shouldn't speak like she'd lived 9 lifetimes. Can I ask you something? She said. Of course. Why were you eating alone? Don't you have friends or family? He hesitated. I have people, he said, but not connection. Note a broken bar, real warmth. Not anymore. Ma nodded thoughtfully. Then maybe you need to borrow a little from someone who still has some. He blinked. Borrow? She nodded again, smiling a tiny, hopeful smile. You can borrow some of mine. Ethan felt it then a crack in the wall he built around his heart. They sat for a few minutes in silence, the comfortable kind, not awkward. Ma sipped her lemonade. Ethan watched the rain outside. The city lights blurred into streaks against the glass, as if the world itself was softening around them. When the plates were cleared, Ma reached into her backpack. I want to show you something. She pulled out a folded piece of paper, edges frayed. When she opened it, Ethan saw a crayon drawing the 2 stick figures holding hands under a sun. That's me and Mom, she explained proudly. She says as long as we stay together, the sun will always rise. Ethan studied the drawing carefully. One stick figure had long hair. The other had a tiny heart drawn on the chest. To remind myself, she said, tapping the heart, that I'm loved, even when things get hard. Ethan's throat felt tight again. He looked at Ma, her sincerity, her strength, the quiet dignity in her little shoulders, and something shifted deep inside him. This girl a broken bar wasn't just surviving, she was teaching him what survival looked like. To her, love wasn't a luxury, it was a compass, a reason to keep walking, a belief that even a stranger might offer kindness. Ma, Ethan said softly. Would you mind if I walked you and your mother home, or to the shelter? She hesitated, biting her lip. I don't want to bother you, she whispered. You've already been so nice. You're not bothering me, he assured. I want to. Her eyes searched his, checking for sincerity. Finally, she nodded. Okay. Boot to broken bar, can we stop by the pharmacy first? He blinked. The pharmacy? She nodded again. Mom ran out of her medicine. She says she's fine, but I know she needs it. Ethan leaned back slowly, exhaling. He understood now. This night wasn't about leftovers. It wasn't even about hunger. It was about a little girl trying to save the last person she had in the world. And it was the moment Ethan Wolf's life quietly, irrevocably began to change. The next morning, Ethan returned with groceries, medicine, blankets, and a doctor he personally hired. Leela's mother was diagnosed with pneumonia, serious, but treatable. Within days she began improving. Ethan checked on them every morning. Each time he arrived, Leela hugged him a little tighter, and each time he left, he felt a warmth he hadn't felt in years. One afternoon, as he brought in another box of supplies, Leela ran up to him, breathless and excited. Sir, Mama stood up today. She cooked. Just a little, but she did it." Ethan smiled, genuinely happy, something rare for him. The mother approached slowly, leaning on the wall for support. "Sir Broken Bar, we owe you everything. I don't know how to thank you." "You don't need to," Ethan replied. "I just want you both safe." The mother hesitated. "If I may ask, Broken Bar, what do you do?" "We never asked your name." Ethan chuckled softly. "I'm Ethan." Her eyes widened. "On a Broken Bar ward?" He nodded. The room fell silent. She covered her mouth. "But Broken Bar, you're a billionaire. Everyone knows you." Leela blinked, stunned. Her little voice whispered, "You're rich? Really rich?" Ethan knelt down to her level. "Yes, but that doesn't matter. You didn't ask me for money. You just asked for kindness." Leela threw her arms around him. "You gave me so much more." Her mother wiped tears from her eyes. "On a Broken Bar, you saved us." He stood. "You saved me. I forgot what life was about. You reminded me." A week later, Ethan surprised them. He had the deed to a new apartment, fully furnished, safe, warm. He had arranged a job for Leela's mother in his company's housekeeping department, a good pay, health benefits, flexible hours, and he had enrolled Leela in a nearby school, covering every expense. When he handed them the keys, Leela screamed with joy. Her mother collapsed into tears. "Why us?" she whispered. "Why help strangers?" Ethan looked at Leela, her small hands clutching the keys, her eyes sparkling with a future she never thought she'd have. "Because," he said softly, "a long time ago, someone helped me when I didn't deserve it. And I swore if I ever made it a Broken Bar, I'd pass the miracle on." Leela hugged him again, tighter than ever. "You're our miracle," she whispered. Ethan shook his head. "No, Leela, you were mine." And just like that, a simple question: "May I have your leftovers, sir?" Had changed all three of their lives forever.